Well, Donald Trump says the policies of Clinton are pushing are the same things really that pushed led to the downfall of Detroit. Hillary Clinton is about to label Trump a shady businessman who outsources his products to former Obama Florida State campaign director Steve Schale and market watcher Keith Fitzgerald. Let me start with you first, Steve. We saw what Donald Trump said on Monday, and we kind of have an idea of what Hillary Clinton's going to talk about today. Obviously, two very different visions of where America should go. Why does she think, in your mind, that this is the winning formula?
Well, listen, I mean, in y'all's own Fox News poll this week, you saw that Clinton's basically leading Trump on every possible issue except for the economy. He's got a 5-point advantage on the economy. If she can make that a push, she basically has the election won. So I think she's going to lay out a vision of saying, listen, we've had 77 months of consecutive job growth. The stock market's up 10,000 points since George Bush left office. But obviously there's still places the economy needs to grow in terms of wages, in terms of growth, and I have a plan to do so. And I think that's what her goal will be today.
You know, Keith Fitzgerald, I never believed that President Obama ever really had an economic plan per se. I always felt his whole agenda was based on an ideology, and most of that was fixated on social justice. And I think Hillary Clinton is more of the same, to be quite frank with you. But there are ways of surrounding it in an economic speech that make it seem pretty flowery.
You know, I agree with that, because here's the thing. You know, if you take the politics out of this for a minute, Charles, then Trump is correct in that you've got failed policies, you've got failed taxes, increased regulation, all these other things. On the other hand, you've got an allegation that's basically a character piece that Clinton is getting ready, presumably, to label Trump with. So you take politics out, you put it back in, but the laws of money are very clear on this. More regulation equals smaller wallet. So what you've got to do is strike a balance politically, economically, whatever label you want to put on that. And that's the challenge that these two candidates face right now.
I want to bring in former Bush 43 spokesperson Mercedes Schlapp. Mercedes, when President Obama ran the first time, candidate Obama, it was pretty easy for him. The market, with the economy is in total free fall. We had a housing crisis that many blamed on the banking sector. So it was easy to say, hey, we need more regulation. Obviously, they can't regulate themselves. But now that we've had it for 8 years and we see what kind of a stranglehold it puts on the American public, it's a kind of interesting that Hillary's going to ask for even more.
Right. I think that this is where Hillary Clinton does fail to understand how a business works. I mean, you have to give it to Donald Trump when he's able to talk about, for example, his father's story about how he would build a structure or build a house, and having that firsthand experience of what it means to be able to be a job creator, for example. That's something that Hillary Clinton does not understand. So what is she proposing? More tax hikes, more federal spending, more regulations, which is what we see as a status quo economic agenda in a time where what we do need is bring in more wealth into America, which is something that Trump talks about. So I think, Charles, for Hillary Clinton, it's just, I think, a misunderstanding of how really we need to be pushing more investment into the United States. And I think her policies are much of the same of what we've seen with President Obama. It's not working. I think when you talk to any small business owner, I know we're one, we have a small business, it really does impact, these regulations do impact how you're able to conduct business, whether you're going to be able to hire more employees for your company. Those are serious concerns for many small businesses across the country.
Yeah, Mercedes, just be glad you don't have to do business in New York. You should see how many loopholes we have to jump through here.